Hi, it's Giselle here on the journey of becoming one, and it's day 48. And karmic relationships. Thinking about the words that I'm using, but this is what came to mind as I was coming upstairs, is karmic relationships. And the reason that I want to talk about this is because we don't always have the awareness and the understanding to interpret in a healthy way our relationships. And I have had so much experience, and I understand now, and I know even when you can't see it, everything happens for a reason. And that the relationships that we feel harm us, those relationships that hurt us, those relationships are opportunities. They're opportunities to release or clear karma, to learn, to be able to grow, and to be able to resolve the past, and to be able to move to new levels of love, unconditional love, value, and appreciation. And oftentimes what happens is we don't understand, and we take things personally, and we internalize hurt, and then sometimes we project that hurt out, and we either beat ourselves up or we want to punish the other person, and we may not even be conscious of this. But ultimately, what all relationships are for is for the opportunity to increase our ability to love, our circle of life. And so when we fail to do that, we make ourselves into a victim. And we then blame someone else for hurting us, or we hurt them to get even. And we're missing out when we do that. Life is a beautiful thing. We're all here to share together. And when we're too busy complaining to see the truth, that we are all one, we're all connected, we're all mirrors, we are all teachers and students, and embrace this, and to help facilitate the growth of ourselves and of one another in a positive and sustaining way. I used to think that the people that were in my life, that there was something wrong with them because they weren't treating me the way that I deserved to be treated, or the way that I thought that I should be treated. And what I have since learned is that sometimes people don't treat me the way that I deserve to be treated because they don't know how to. And that times when I've walked away from somebody because I've had this done to me were times that were right on the verge of a breakthrough. And understanding that sometimes we need a friend. Sometimes we need to see that somebody is still going to be there even when we are at our worst. And whether we're conscious of it or unconscious, sometimes what we do is we test each other. We test each other to see where the boundaries and the limits are, and we can miss out. So for me, when I really love somebody, or when somebody really loves me, what it means is that we stand. We stand there and we hold that space of knowing who the person really is, knowing what they're really intended to be, that they have the potential to be, that they're on the path and you know, that they're growing into. and not taking things personally. I mean, this is in the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And he talks about not taking things personally. That what somebody else does is because of them, it's not because of you. And even though I had that intellectual idea here, it's taken me years to be able to acclimate that into myself, to be able to really understand it on a cellular level as opposed to an intellectual level. And now I do understand that. What I do is because of me. So the fact that I'm unconditionally loving and kind and forgiving, that's brilliant qualities that I have, that I've developed and that I've maintained, and that I've done my best to repair when they weren't working. And that's because of me. That's because of me taking all of the experiences that I've had in life and turning myself into that person. That was a choice. And at one time, I didn't make that choice. I made a different choice. At one time, I made the choice to be the victim. And I probably made the choice to victimize others in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes the way that we victimize each other is through making them the victimizer. You know, it's quite interesting and complex, this way that our psyches work and the things that we do. And ultimately, what my target is always... Oh, I should have done that. Hold on. Let me get this back out and show you. What my target is, my bullseye, my mark, my target is to do everything that I can to ensure that I'm removing everything that's in the way of love. And sometimes that's easy and sometimes that's hard, but one thing is for certain, the more that I do it, the easier it gets. And it's wonderful. So what I invite everybody to do is to look at their relationships, look at the places where they're not happy, and to look at those in a way where they look at where they can grow. Because sometimes it looks like it's the other guy and it's not, it's you. And sometimes it looks to the other guy like it's you and it's not, it's them. And sometimes it looks like we don't, you know, sometimes it looks like it's our fault and it's not. So to think about this sensibly and to step and to walk again, and I've said this before, that narrow line between blaming somebody else and blaming ourselves. Trusting in that source, that central connection to us all, where we come from, where everything is provided to us, and trusting that, and trusting and loving one another, and walking in between that space of blaming someone else and blaming ourselves. That clear space where it is a clear path, and trusting that everything happens for a reason, and appreciating the value of that. Because yes, sometimes there has to be a forest fire in order for the forest to grow replenished and anew. And sometimes there has to be a flood or some natural disaster in order for things to be remade. And as soon as we can appreciate this and love and trust, then our world is completely transformed and it's never going to be the same. So I invite you to consider this, and I welcome you in this space. I love you. Have a great day. Namaste.